Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada, and you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Tuesday night tonight, and on Tuesdays I share a sketch with you, and so that's what I'm here to do today. I'm getting really excited. So first of all, I have to say a huge thank you. I am getting ready to go to leave for the incentive trip coming up on Thursday. And so I have to say a huge thank you to everyone who follows me, to my customers, and to my amazing team for supporting me over the year that it took to earn the trip. I couldn't have done it without you, and I'm very grateful and humbled that I am able to earn the trip. And I do have to add a disclaimer. We're required to add a disclaimer that only less than 1% of demonstrators globally earn the incentive trip. So like I said, I am so humbled. So I have my Minnie Mouse glasses on. You may not be able to see them, but they're red polka dots and black, and they've got Minnie in the corner. And I had my nails done today, and so I'm going to show you those because I'm getting kind of excited to go. So, all right. After that, let me switch over. We're going to do the sketch. I'm going to use the Cheers and Sips stamp set and designer series paper tonight to make a fun fold out of the sketch. You can make the sketch as it is, easy to do, but I've given you the measurements if you want to follow along and make the fun fold that I'm making. All right, let me switch over. All right, so first of all, let me show you. Aren't these adorable? Look at these. My nail tack did red and white polka dots, some little, oopsie, can you see those? Mickey Mouse ears, and then a Mickey Mouse ears on that one. So they're kind of fun. Anyway, I'm excited about this. All right, so here's the sketch. Like I said, you could do this just as it is, and if you were going to do it, I've given you the measurements as if you're going to do the fun fold that I'm doing. But if you were going to do this as just the card as it's shown, instead of for layer 2, where I've said 4 inches by 5 1/4, you would just have another piece that's 2 inches by 5 3/8. So you would have 2 pieces here that are exactly the same, and then some kind of shape in the center. Hey, Holly, welcome. So for this one, and if you're following along with my fun fold, now this sketch will go live in about a half hour's time on Instagram and Facebook if you follow along with my sketches. So the card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. This piece here, this purple piece, is 2 inches by 5 3/8. And then the white piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4 because that's going to go on the inside of the card. Again, a shape, I've said about 2.5 by 2.5. I'm using the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. And then I'm going to add some layers to it. And then a sentiment. So whatever will fit. I've said 1 inch by 1 1/4 or whatever fits your sentiment. So I'm just going to use a sentiment from, this is the Cheers and Sips stamp set. So we have a Creativity Abounds stamp camp coming up at the end of June, and we're using the celebratory Sips suite. So you get the stamp set and the dies, you get the designer series paper. I'm only using this one tonight. You get 2 of the mini embossing folders called Grass and Glass. I may have that wrong, but they're the mini, the narrow embossing folders that are really fun. And they're holographic resin dots. And so if you put that order in through my online store, you will get a make and take kit with 13 projects in it. Now, if you're local to me, you don't pay postage. If you're not local to me, you would pay the postage to get that kit. And then we go live in our Facebook group. There's 13 of us, and we do live presentations with bonus projects. So you get the 13 make and takes, and you get 13 bonus projects. So what a way to use a suite, and you end up with 26 projects that all are pretty amazing. And so we have demonstrators all over the world. So if you don't live in Canada and you're interested in this, you can reach out and I can put you in touch with a demonstrator who can help you in your market. But the stamp camp is the 27th and 28th of June. And if you're interested, you don't have to be live with us. The videos will be there, and you do get a PDF and a YouTube video to help you make the make and takes. What else was I going to do? Oh, and you don't have to do them all at once. You can do them at your leisure. If you are a demonstrator, you can still participate. Maybe you already have this suite, but you would still put an order in through my online store for the equivalent value, and then you would get the make and take kit. Okay, enough about the stamp camp. If you're interested, there is a post on my blog. Hello, Marva. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, so let's get started. So I pulled out Blackberry Bliss, and then I've got a piece of the designer series paper, and I'm using this side that is the strawberry slush, and then I've got my piece of basic white, and I haven't decided. I punched out 2 circles. I can't decide which one I'm going to use, so you guys can help me with that. So if you were going to make this just as it appears into just a regular card, you would score it at 4 1/4. But I'm going to do what I call a back flip card. So I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. But then, so that's going to go like that. And then I'm just going to score it at 2 1/8. So if you're making the fun fold, it's at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. And if you're just making a regular card, it's just at 4 1/4. Hey Sharon, welcome. Okay, so we're just going to fold and use our bone folder, fold into the mountain. Use our bone folder and then fold back. So this is why I call it a back flip card, because now you end up with a card base that looks like that. And so my piece of designer series paper is going to go on like that. I'm just debating whether I need to trim a little bit off. I might trim just a touch off. And then the basic white goes like that. And it's going to either be that or that. So you guys, while I'm kind of getting things glued, you guys can decide and give me some ideas of which you like, whether it's the Blackberry Bliss as the circle or the strawberry slush. But in the meantime, I am going to do some gluing. Now, I'm still debating for some reason. 2 1/8. I'm going to just trim a titch off my designer series paper. There, that's looking like it's got equal amounts on the sides and on the bottom. I like this kind of irregular polka dots. To stamp something on the inside of this, so I'm not going to glue that down quite yet. Okay, have I got any opinions? Blackberry Bliss. I'm hearing, I see Holly saying Blackberry Bliss. Marva, okay, I think Blackberry Bliss. Okay, we're going to go with that. So this is going to attach just to this flap, and you can do that with either dimensionals, or you can do that with glue. I'm going to do it with dimensionals, and I'm going to put it so that it's about even on equal sides. And so I just want to make sure that I'm only putting those dimensionals or whatever adhesive I'm using on that one side that's going to glue down or stick down like that. So now we've got our card that opens like that. Okay, so the stamp actually has a whole bunch of garnishes. It's got some glasses and then a bunch of garnishes and then the sentiments. So I am going to use, if I can find a block, I'm going to use the strawberry, and I'm going to stamp it. Maybe if I can find, there it is, my strawberry slush. And I'm just going to stamp this down in this corner. This is going to show down in the right-hand corner. So So this is going to go on like that. Yes, Marva, they are for Disney. I was saying that I'm getting very excited for the incentive trip. And I was thanking everybody for their support. So yeah, I leave on Thursday. I'm flying to Calgary, which is where my sister lives. My sister's coming with me. And so I fly to Calgary on Thursday, and then her and I fly to Orlando on Sunday. So the incentive trip starts the following Tuesday. So we have a couple of days in Orlando. So you're not going to see much of this this circle anyway, but I cut a couple. I love this because you can cut these glasses out of the designer series paper. So not much stamping on these cards. And so I thought that I'm just going to glue this one down kind of in the middle. And then I'm going to use dimensionals on this one to pop it up a little bit. Oops. Like that. Pretty quick and easy card when you're able to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp. I'm going to stamp the Cheers in Blackberry Bliss, and I've got this tiny, so some of these, the Cheers isn't a bad size in this stamp set, but the other sentiments are tiny, so I'm going to stamp this Cheers, and I'm going to say to you, and I'm doing that in Strawberry Slush. So they are, thank you so much. How long is this flight for me? Well, it's an hour and a half for me to Calgary. And then, let's see, we leave at like 10 in the morning, and we get, it's about 4 hours maybe from Calgary to Orlando, something like that. It's not bad. 3 hour time difference, or 2 hour time difference to Calgary, 3 hours from here. So if I was flying from here, it'd be a little longer. So we have a couple of days to, well, actually we have one day. We get there Sunday night, and then we're just going to relax for a day, and then we go to the Disney hotel where the incentive trip is on Tuesday. Okay. Oh, I still do. Okay, I'm going to stamp, or I'm going to adhere my sentiment with these few little dimensional pieces that I have left. So like I was saying, we're using the celebratory sips for our stamp camp, and so if you're interested in that, reach out. Again, if you don't live in Canada, I can put you in touch with a demonstrator who can help you in your market, because we have demonstrators that are in all markets. Now, I thought I would use, these are the, let's see if you can see them. They're called Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink embellishments. And so they're not the ones that come with the suite. Those are called holographic resin dots. But I thought because I was using Strawberry Slush, these would just go pretty well with that. So I'm going to use the darker. They're 3 shades, and so I'm going to use the darker Strawberry Slush ones. All right, that's, you know, when I go to make a fun fold, you know, sometimes you just want a quick and easy fun fold, and this one called, what that I call the backflip card, is definitely one of those. So there you go. I could have put a sentiment in the middle. It would have been hidden by my circle. Like I said, if you wanted to just make a card, I would just cut 2 pieces of the designer series paper or designer series paper and cardstock and stick it down on the front of a card like that. And then you would just have 2 strips, and you could do exactly the same card if you didn't want to do the fun fold. But I don't know. This is such an easy fun fold that, yeah, pretty easy to do. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Now, I will be live tomorrow, but it'll be earlier than normal because I have a meeting tomorrow night. So come join me about 4:30 tomorrow afternoon, Pacific, and I will be live with a technique. That will be my last live until I get back on the 19th, I guess the 19th of May. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me